Today I'm going to be teaching you about the Chia blockchain and the basics to help you navigate. Right now we're on the Chia website. This is where you can go to learn a little bit more about the network. This is basically a better Bitcoin using peer-to-peer offer files rather than the typical structure that you're used to. If you go over to the Chia side, there's 3 different wallets that we like to use here. We have the Chia Client Wallet, which is the main wallet provided to us by the Chia network themselves. Then we have some community-driven wallets where we have developers like the Sage wallet, which is the go-to right now because of ease of use and the ability to customize it and much more. We also have another wallet called the Goby Wallet. This is a browser extension. Both the Sage wallet and the Goby Wallet are possible to be used on your phone if done properly. I will not be going over that today. Also, Chia just released these vaults. Not going to show you that today either. That is for another video on another day. So to kind of give you a little rundown, you go on Chia, you're like, oh, what is this? Cryptocurrency. I want to figure out how to buy it. I want to know how to hold it in my wallet. I want to know how to use it for transactions on this network. Buying, whether it be DACs, DAX from Solomon Slot, where you can invest in real estate. It could be you just wanted to buy an NFT. You just wanted to buy some meme coins that you saw were trending. We're going to go through a little bit of each of that and where to go and which tools you can use. So once you go to Chia, you go to the download section. There are different options like Windows or Mac. Click download, install. You're going to have a choice between the full client and a light client. I recommend, if you're not interested in becoming a node on this network, meaning you will facilitate transactions and make sure that all of the transactions line up across the network, it will allow you to then go into the Chia Lite wallet, which has a lot of that infrastructure pulled out of it so that it's bare bones and easier to use for somebody that doesn't necessarily need all of that. So after it's downloaded, you'll get something like this. You'll have to be going through different screens than I am right now in order to set up what's called a private key. You're going to want to write this private key down on a piece of paper or hammered into a piece of sheet metal or something. Doesn't matter what, as long as you don't copy it, paste it anywhere on your PC, take a picture of it, write it in your notepad or anything on the computer itself. Any device that can store it, you do not want it on there. You want it as a physical piece of paper or something that you can access, only you can access. Because this private key is going to give access to your funds. This is going to allow people to make transactions from your wallet. And so if you have this key, this private mnemonic is also what it's called. You can hear it called a mnemonic. It will allow you to log into these different wallets, like the Chia Client Wallet, Sage Wallet, Goby Wallet, whatever one is your preference, and you'll still be able to access the same funds. So you think of it like a password to a bank account, and this bank account is usable through any one of these wallet services. Once you've chosen the wallet service that you prefer, you'll go in and you'll create that private key. Don't share it with your mom, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your significant other. Nobody should have this but you, because you are in control of your funds. If somebody gets access to this, they have full control over all of your funds, and that is a big no-no. Moving forward, this is the Chia Client Wallet. After you've downloaded, you set that up, you've hidden your passphrase somewhere safe. This is the interface. We have tokens where it shows the minimum denomination of the network, which is xch. And then there's microbits here that I'm leaving out, which is called mojos that make up an xch. You don't really need to know that, other than when you're trying to, let's say, make a transaction and you're like, oh, I don't want to use a full xch on my transaction for the gas fee in order to let my transaction go through. I want to use maybe 1,000 or 1,000,000 mojos, let's say. So the lowest denominators we can in order to send the transaction through. Because on Chia, you could either have a 0 mojo or xch transaction fee, or you could set it as high as you'd like in order to make sure that you're included on the next block. So as we go through this, we're going to see different tokens. Not all of these are the same. Some of these are for different things like meme coins. Maybe there was a release of different things on another chain like Ethereum, and then they bridged some of that to have a smaller denomination of Ethereum available. So they put that on the chain. Whatever it is, that's what they put on here. So if you go into here, you'll find that you'll see there's the summary of what you've done, your transactions, the amount you're able to spend. If you think of it this way, each time you make a transaction, your coins or tokens split, and then you're only able to spend a certain amount out of that token while the transaction is going through. That will show up here and be your pending balance that you're able to use after it's in the network, in a block being included, and then your total balance after such and what the change will be. If, let's say, you had 140 and then you send it somewhere, then your pending balance will be 140. You'll have a pending balance of 140, and your total balance will then be 1, for example, right? And if I wanted to make another transaction while that one's going out, I'll only be able to use one out of that 141 because that's all that's available to me. Now, you can see there's different sections where you can send to a different person an address, it says. An address is essentially a place where publicly you can receive funds to this. It's not your private key. It's not unsafe to give this out. This is provided to you at the top right of your client. And this wallet address, you can refresh, you can get a new one. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be tied to your same private key, private wallet. So you can create as many as you want. It doesn't really matter. But here we can be like, okay, I copied this wallet address. And let's say this is not your wallet address. Let's say you're being like, oh, hey, XYZ, my friend, I want to send you something. Can you send me your wallet address? They would go into here and then click the copy wallet address, and then they would send it to you. You would then copy their wallet address and then put it in here. You would type in the amount that you would like to send them of XCH, and then a fee where it could be 0. It could be done in like 2 minutes, 60 seconds, etc. You could put a custom fee if you'd like. There's also a wonderful ability that they added on this blockchain called a clawback, where if you're unsure at the beginning whether or not you're doing things right, I would recommend you turn something like this on just to save yourself some stress for later. But essentially, this allows you to, let's say, if I sent this to this address, be able to receive the funds back before this time frame expires. And there's really no repercussion to having this happen. It's just kind of like a safety net, so that when you send something somewhere, let's say you copied the wrong address and you sent it to the wrong place and this is active, you'll be able to take back that money and be like, oops, I didn't mean to send it there. Meanwhile, if you don't have this active, once you send it there, it's gone for good. And you cannot get that back. So you need to be very careful of what you're doing because it is your funds and you are in full control of them. Now, I'm not going to really go into the memo side. You can kind of think of it like a little note that goes and coincides with your transaction that you're making at the time. Now, I'm going to move forward to the receive. This is your receive address. This is where if somebody's like, oh, I want to send you some XCH, I want to send you some memecoins, an NFT, whatever it is on the Chia chain, this is where you go copy your address and then go paste it to them, and then they will send you it and you'll be able to receive whatever they're trying to send you. Now, a couple things to note. There is a thing up here at the top right with a little green check mark. This are all the different peers that you're connecting to in order to ensure that transactions are going through and they're being heard by the network. Now, if this is orange, you're not connected, you're probably not going to be able to make any transactions. So you're going to want to wait for this to fully sync with all the other nodes on the network. Now, if you try to do anything before then, it's going to cause some hiccups and issues. So you're going to want to wait until it's a green check. Also, if you're having any issues with it or it's getting hung up, there's different things up in here at the top that you can go to, and there's a force reload, there's a reload. Try those, then move on and try to wait for the reconnecting of the network. If that doesn't work, maybe close it down, do a hard reset, try again until it's fully connected. It's going to take a long time because it needs to essentially go back to the very beginning of time when these transactions first started and then record all of them as it is a ledger and then show the proof of what has happened since then till now. So if any new transactions come in on the network or I send some out, it's not going to show the last one until it's updated. As you can see, it turned orange again. It's probably just resyncing, making sure that it's up to date, and that's fine. So moving forward, we have some other options like deleting unconfirmed transactions. Let's say you have a transaction that you sent out that gets hung, as in it's not being accepted. It's sitting there, there's issues, and you sent it out before this node was synced. You can, and before it was sent out on the network. You can delete those and start again from scratch. Now, still be careful. You don't want to just go trying to spend stuff willy-nilly and then go canceling and be like, oh no, where did my money go? If it did happen to go onto the network, we'll go through that at another time. So next is creating an offer. You can create an offer that has a time frame of when it will expire. This is like saying I have this amount of oranges and I want this amount of XCH in exchange for it. Now, this is really cool because you can customize these offer files. For instance, I can be like, I'm offering 1 XCH and this type of token for this many types of tokens. And I also can add an NFT if I'd like to choose a random NFT, and then I can set the fee to make sure that once the offer expires, it can be sent back to me properly. Now, if you're looking at this and being like, oh, what is this? This is the royalties for this specific NFT. Each NFT has a different royalty. A royalty is paid to the creator of the collection that made the NFTs possible. And it'll be like 1 XCH plus 3% of your 1 XCH on top of it. So you're not going to only spend 1, just so you know, it's 1 plus 3% of 1 that will go out into this transaction. Then you can be like, okay, well, I'm requesting a specific amount of XCH for this. Let's say I wanted 10. It could be anything. It could be a token. It could be another NFT if you like. It could be a combination of them. It's really what you choose as what you're looking for. Now, I'm not going to submit this offer, but this was just to show you what it's like to create an offer. This will be like the old school Craigslist brought back, reimagined. And so you would create offer. It would ask you, let's see, see, I can't even create the offer because my node is still not synced. It'll most likely ask you if you want to paste that offer across different networks like decentralized exchanges and the blockchain. You're going to click yes, and then it's going to ask you to sign that transaction, and then it will go on the network to be either accepted or not, because it's not like the normal transactions on like Ethereum or Bitcoin where it's like, oh, I sent this, it's there, it's over. These can stay stagnant. That offer could stay available for a year and not be touched until somebody's like, you know what, that's the offer I want, and then go up and take it, which is one of the cool parts of this network. Now you can add some more tokens if you're exploring, you find these tokens on some websites I'll show you in a moment as some tools. Essentially, there's just like as you have a receive address, these tokens, or they're called cats on the Chia network, they have a string of numbers that essentially show what they are. So in better words, you copy this long string of numbers, you're able to put it inside your wallet with the name of the token and the string of numbers, and eventually you'll be able to add that token to your wallet. And then if you go buy some, you'll then see your balance change of it if you have some. Now, I don't have any right now, but this is the wrapped USDC from Base Network, which is a fork of Ethereum done by Coinbase. Moving forward, you can send and receive even these from this section, or any cat token. We have also the NFT section where you can have different collections. There's ones made by the Chia network itself, like Chia Friends. There's others that are created by community members and artists and the likes. They can be used for different things depending on what they want to do with them. All of these NFTs can then be assigned to what is called a DID, a digital identity. And you can name it, you can call it what you want. But these NFTs can be shown off if you'd like on a profile, essentially. So it's, if you think of it kind of like having a Facebook and you want to put some pictures up there to show that's what you participate in or you support, and you want it relating to you and show that that's what you collect, etc. That's where you would make one of these. Or let's say you have something that's a little bit more in depth, like the Tang Gang on Chia. They use these DIDs to give credit to the people that are collecting them and give them points, and then they have spreadsheets that they can pay these points out, different cat tokens and or different weights depending on what they hold. If they hold a certain NFT, they might get certain perks like access to different Discord channels and the like, which is really neat. Now, if we go over here and we create one of these profiles, we can put these NFTs that we collect in it and then use it for different things and different purposes. I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, you can kind of get the gist of what to do by going through and just clicking buttons, I guess. You could create an offer with each one. You could transfer it to another wallet address if you have it. You can move it to your profile, the one that I was just talking about, the ID. You could hide it from view if it's not something that you want to see in your wallet. You can refresh the metadata, which essentially is showing what it's about and its picture, etc., PNG. You'll want to do that for the ones that say invalid hash. You'll go, oh, okay, refresh the data on this thing, and then it will revalidate the hash and make sure that you still have it and what it is, etc. And then you'll be able to see what's on the NFT in here. Now, you can choose to also burn the NFT, which means to relinquish all of your rights to it and then put it in an address that is inaccessible by anybody else, not even the owners of the network, this Chia Network Incorporated. Nobody can ever take it back once it's in the burn address unless there's specific things that are nuanced, and I'm not going to go through that. You can copy an NFT ID. This is what would allow you to find that NFT on different websites, such as MintGarden or dexie.space. You can see the media URL. We can go into MintGarden. We can go look up the NFT or transaction on a block explorer like Space Scan. I'll be going through these tools in a moment. You can open it up in your browser just to see the information relating to it. You can also download the PNG to make sure that you can get full quality and lossless quality of it and go paste it wherever you'd like. That's enough for the NFT section for now. There is a verifiable credential section. I'm not going to go into this because I do not use this personally. This is where you would put up your ID and a membership, your government badges, etc., to be able to verify who you are making these transactions and ensure that it is you making these transactions from this wallet. Now, the next thing would be your offer builder. Kind of like I showed you before, I'm not going to go through this, but there's things called offer files, which is what you would make, and then you would get a long string of text that you can sit there and paste into here to view what is in that offer. I'll show you that in a moment. You can also build your offer, which is what I showed you before. You can see any incoming offers that you have for whatever you have, ones that you've created before, ones that you've also accepted. Now, there's also a contact section, which gives you an easier way to, let's say, name people that you use frequently, or there's a wallet address that you don't want connected to this main one, and you want to just like have a good place to come pick it and grab it so that you don't have to go trust a third-party website or an application or the cache or cookies that could be contaminated on a website, etc. You can come to your wallet and find the address and send it to, let's say that's your friend, let's say it's your wallet address on a different wallet, etc. Now there's other tools. I'm not going to go through the tools. There's settings. I'm not going to go through the settings. The only thing that I want you to really pay attention to is the wallet and the farming. Now, if you're going to farm, make sure that you have a tremendous amount of space on your computer to include all of the transactions and such. I'm on the light version, so it's just the wallet. It's not the farming for more XCH by confirming transactions and keeping the network secure. So make sure you have at least, I believe it's 250 gigabytes free just for that. And I don't know if it's changed since then, but it should be about that just to start. Then we have a derivative index, this such a range. Essentially, I'm not going to go fully into it. Now, if you have multiple addresses, cats, NFTs, etc., and they're all on different wallet addresses, let's say you click this a bunch of times, you've got a bunch of different wallet addresses, and it doesn't show up one day that you have certain amounts of coins or cat tokens, NFTs, you would go in here and raise this number up to about 5,000 so that it can include all of those addresses and then show and reflect back in your wallet what you have in all of them. Then we're going to move on to the other type of wallets that we have. We have the Sage wallet. This is one way to interact with a lot of the new things that are going on chain, and it's a slightly easier interface to use. These so essentially, once you get your private key from the Chia Client Wallet, you can go into here, log in with that passphrase or mnemonic, and then you'll be able to see the same things that you had in this wallet as you did in the other wallet. So as you can see, it'll show my balance, and then it'll show the same balance. That's how I know that I'm in the same wallet. Now, all of these other things are cat tokens that somebody might have made, and you can go purchase them, etc., gamble on them. This is where you would put the asset ID that I was talking about, the string of letters and numbers that would show what the token is, and you can add it to your wallet. Meanwhile, if you already have it, then Sage is intuitive enough that it will reflect here and show everything that you have. There's ways to filter, hide tokens that you don't want to look at anymore. You can look at all of the tokens in a different way. You can issue your own token if you want. I don't recommend doing that. Now you can go and see your NFTs in different collections. These are not just single NFTs. These are all collections that are made by people. So you can go into something like the Chellies that I have here and see all of their work. There's different things like the Tang Bears, which are used for the Tang Gang community. Those can be used for access to their Discord. So if you have it in your wallet, they can verify whether it's in your wallet or not, and then give you access to private parts of their servers and give you different perks, which is really neat. There's different ways that these can be used, and the possibilities are endless. So then you can go over here to your profiles. This is the DID section where I showed you before. You can create these profiles and then put and assign those NFTs to the profile to then be like, yo, this is me. This is what I own. This is the next section. I'm not going to go over options contracts. I showed you how to build an offer. There is a swap feature in here where you can choose an asset and exchange it for another one. So let's say it's Chia, and then let's say it is the Cat Network Index token, and I want one Chia. Then it will give you the swap rate for one Chia for Cat Index. It will take a 1% fee, most likely given to Sage, and then how much it costs for a fee on the network. Really cool. I haven't seen a wallet that allows you to swap in it like Sage, so that is one of the coolest features that I've seen. Now, if you don't feel that it has your token or something that you think should be there, I'm going to show you another place where you can swap your XCH for a cat token. These are all your different addresses and what they are connected to. This is your transaction history based on what you have sent out or received, and that should be the general knowledge of what this application is about. Now, I'm not going to show you Goby, but Goby you download, you put it in your browser extension like Chrome, and you can log in with your passphrase or your mnemonic, and you will then have access to the same funds. Or you can create a new one and interact with a... so what you can do is use the Chia Client Wallet as a cold wallet that doesn't touch the internet whatsoever, and you can put your funds there safely. And then anytime you want to interact with anything, you can, let's say, send it to your Sage wallet or your Goby wallet and make those your hot wallets and make a different seed phrase for it. Send your money there, make your transaction on this wallet, then send it back to your client wallet so that it's in a secure place that never touched the internet. Now, I say all this to then bring you back to the beginning of what is XCH, where do I get it, how do I even use it? Now, you can go on the buy website. It'll show you all the different wallets that are available to use, all the different exchanges that are offering XCH right now. You can go on KuCoin, you can go HTX, Uphold, OKX, CoinX, Gate.io, Crypto.com. There's a few others, like there's a nuanced way of getting it now, which is really intuitive on the Coinbase exchange. You can now find what's called wrapped XCH, which is XCH that's been put on the base network. And so let's show you wrapped XCH, which means that it's been warped from one network to the other. Wow, all these buttons. Okay. And it allows you to purchase it directly through Coinbase if you'd like. And there's other places that you could find that may not be on there. So you can go on. What we like to do is go to CoinMarketCap is a really good place to find the exchanges where to get XCH at. Now, these are usually for decentralized exchanges and or centralized exchanges. It'll show both. Now, here's all the same options that we saw there, plus a little bit more. There's a couple pages worth. You're going to want to check how much is on each one before you go buy it too, by the way, depending on how much you're getting. There's also places like SimpleSwap that you can go to buy with one crypto for the other. You can be like, let's say you already know how to use Ethereum network and you have your Ethereum, right? You can exchange your Ethereum for XCH on this website and get a significant step missing. Like you don't have to go KYC and be on a centralized network and show that you're making these purchases. You can be on this where it is non-KYC, know your customer, and you can see the exchange rates. Now, not every network will be able to exchange or XCH, but a lot of them will, depending on how much you have each. Let's say if you don't have very much, it's not going to let you. So if you have like 0.05, it's going to tell you there's a minimum amount of this that you have to be able to purchase, right? So you could either do that way, or you can go on here, and you can't necessarily buy XCH right now for straight from your bank account on this website. But what you can do is, if you can't find it in other places, but you know that there's an exchange from ETH to XCH, then you can go over here and buy with your debit or credit card or bank account and be like, I want $200 of ETH. And then be like, okay, now once I have that in my wallet, I can be like, okay, well, now I have that much ETH. I can go exchange that for XCH. And that could be one way that you do it. Moving forward from that, there are different ways that XCH has been ported over. Like I was saying, there's Bridge. So warp.green is the main bridge that people are using right now, where it can be used to bridge from the base network to the Chia network to the Ethereum and vice versa. You can go in between all of them. It is one of the cool protocols that also allowed cat tokens to bridge from the Chia network to base, and it can now go back and forth, right? So I say all this so that I can say, once you have gone to the website, you've purchased your XCH, you go through the steps of receiving your XCH in your wallet address. So essentially you would go, let's say, to SimpleSwap, and you wanted that much XCH because you went and bought some Ethereum with it to exchange. You would get this much in return. You could click exchange. You would go put your wallet address in here. So you would copy your wallet address. You would put it in the receive, because that's where you'll be getting it. And then you should see it in your wallet within a reasonable amount of time, as long as you don't mess up throughout the process. Now, there's also different things, like you can create a refund address just in case something goes wrong. You put the wrong amount or something just didn't work out. You can always put a refund address and then it will be sent back to you. I'm not going to teach you how to go through MetaMask, but there's other wallets like Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Rainbow Wallet, Rabi Wallet, etc. This will allow you to interact with the Ethereum blockchain and a few other blockchains as well, like Solana can be used on Phantom Wallet. You could also use Ethereum network on the same wallet. And then once you're able to do that, you can connect that ETH wallet to the bridge. You can connect your Chia wallet to the bridge, and you would do that through the Wallet Connect feature. Wallet Connect is up here at the top right of your client wallet. It allows you to add connections to different websites and give it access to sign transactions on your behalf. So for instance, I will show you later what that looks like. I'm not going to do that with the bridge just yet, but essentially you would be able to bridge from either Ethereum or Base to Chia, or from Chia to Base or Ethereum, and receive whatever amount on the other side in your wallet. And it shows the supported assets that are on Chia that are capable to be used through the bridge. It shows some documentation if you'd like to learn a little bit more about it, its status, the developers, GitHub, etc. I'm going to go back here. Now that, let's say you finally got some XCH in your wallet, and you're like, okay, it's burning a hole in my pocket. I want to know what to do with this XCH. You're going to go over to xch.trade. This is going to allow you to view all of the meme coins on the market. If you're a gambler, this is where you would go. And this is the trending section of the coins that are going up and down. We have the ability to hide low activity tokens from our view, so that if it's not really active, I don't really want to see it. This one is the Tangang. Yes, all of the cat tokens that are associated with the Tangang, you click this little toggle switch, and you'll see only the ones that are within that community. And then we have some of the others that these are done through warp.green bridge. These are all the ones that are not cat tokens that are community made, but more so towards the USDC side and such, and Ethereum side, instead of being a meme coin. Now, on this page, you can see that there's plenty of them that you don't really know what they're doing, but here's the market cap, here's the volume, here's the liquidity, and here's what you can do with that particular asset. So we could sort by liquidity to show the strongest assets that have the most XCH paired to the cat token. And As you can see, Bepe is the leader in liquidity. It is a monster. It has $35,000 just in XCH alone on this network, not including if you were to go on the Ethereum base network and see how much liquidity is there as well. We have that. We have Chia, ticker Chia, Netcoin, Peel Points, so PP. We got Cat Network Index Token, Sprout, Spacebucks, Love, Big Network. All of these things are of a similar vein. They're all meme coins, but they all have different purposes. Like Big Network is going to be used as a utility token for a network. Meanwhile, PP is used to reward the people in the Tang gang for how much they hold of the assets that are within the community, and they get dripped or sent a certain amount of these tokens on a daily basis. And depending on how much of the cat tokens that they hold, they will also get a proportional amount of that sent to them. So if they hold more of CNI Cat Network Index token and they get a daily drip, they're going to get more if they hold these tokens. Not going to go too much further into that. Now, what we can do is look at these tokens and break down the information of what we're seeing here. So it gives us the name, it gives us the ticker, which is a condensed version of the name, and the asset ID, which is what you would use. You would come over here and copy it. Then you can go into your Chia Client Wallet. This is where you would be able to add it to your wallet and be like, oh, I don't see it in here. This is the CNI token. This is the asset ID. Now I should be able to add that to my wallet and see it in my balances once it reflects here. Now, you could do this also in Sage, but it's already going to do that for you if you own it. But you can also look it up before you own it and put the asset in here and then add it to your wallet that way. So then it gives a description of the token, what you can do with it, where to find it at, look up the information on it. Another way to copy this. I'll show you these in a moment. More token information, the circulating supply, how much is available on the market or within circulation that's not locked or vested. The total supply, the amount of liquidity on the main platforms. Dexie is a decentralized exchange, and TibetSwap is an automated market maker, but also works kind of like a pancake swap or a exchange, if you will. And it shows the amount of XCH that is paired against however much of that cat token and the amount of how much that liquidity is. Now, if you look at this, it means that there's $12,000 paired against the market cap, which is a really good ratio. Meanwhile, if you have less here, the more sketch it kind of gets, and the more volatile the token is. So if this is low compared to this. So if your liquidity is low to your market cap, you should see big swings. Meanwhile, these won't be as much big of swings. You can zoom out and see more time frames on what's going on with each token. You can see a combination of all the different exchanges and what that price movement looks like. You can use only the liquidity source that it's paired with, let's say, if you only want to see that, because Dexie can sometimes be off and skewed because somebody could put up an offer and be like, I want one coin, and then trade it to themselves for one coin, and it would make the price look really big when it's not. So you should be very careful with how things look. And seeing something like this, it should feel solid to you because there's liquidity paired, and it's not just one exchange, it's a couple exchanges that are working together to show you how much is there, right? And it'll show you the transaction history. And then I'm going to move forward from here. That's all this website is really used for, is to just kind of see the trends of what's going on, who's buying what, what's going up, what's going down, and what's available on the market to be purchased. Go ahead and close that. Now, to move forward, once you found the tokens or the cat tokens that you would like to purchase, you would go on something like TibetSwap. And this is the website, b2.tibetswap.io. This is where you would find your cat token. It could be any of the ones that I showed you before. It could be Pepe, for instance. It could be GAT. It could be ticker Chia. It could be CNI. It could be even the platform DexieBucks, which is this platform's currency. And so what I will do is show you how to do a transaction here. I'm going to go through and be like, okay, I have my XCH. I want to then purchase some of this cat token right here. I'm going to do so right now by being like, okay, I'm on the website. I found the token, found the name. It's on the bottom. If it's on the bottom, this is the one that you will receive. This is what you will be sending for that amount. So I will be sending 1 XCH and be receiving this much CNI in return. It will then show the impact of how that is on the ratio of what's in the liquidity pool. As I showed you before, in the liquidity pool for this particular token, I can go back on xch.trade and then go look at it for CNI and see that there was that $12,000 paired together. Now it might be $6,000 in XCH and $6,000 in the cat token. So that should show the difference of what will happen when you just buy one. Now, as this goes up, you can even buy 0.1, you can buy 0.01. And notice how this doesn't change that much. It's only once you start doing a little bit higher transactions that you'll start to see this number creep up. And as that creeps up, you'll see the impact. Now, if it has high impact with a low amount, so 1 XCH right now is currently $7. If $7 is moving the price only 0.23%, that's not bad. Now, if something like 10 is moving it only 2%, that's still not that bad. That means it's got really good liquidity. Meanwhile, if you go to something, let's say, that doesn't have very good liquidity in it, let's see here, where can we go? We'll just say that this one, let's see how this one. Now, one XCH is actually 10 times the percent movement. That means you're going to get 10 times less of this token than you would the other token based on the ratio and its impact of how much you're buying. Now, if you bought 10 XCH, it's going to go, whoa, way up there. You're going to literally move the percent of the token 21%. Not good, right? That means there's not very much liquidity there. So we're going to avoid that one personally because I don't want to move the price that much and then have people immediately sell and it go down on me. I'm going to go to something a little bit more safer that has a less ratio of it going up. Like BetPay is amazing. It has 0.04% impact with one. If you use 10, that's only 0.43. That's amazing liquidity. So we'll do something with CNI just to stay on the cat theme. I go, okay, I want this token. I go to Wallet Connect at the top right, and I go, okay, I have this Goby wallet or I have the Sage wallet. I'm going to use the Sage wallet this time. I'm going to see that it's going to pair. I'm going to copy the pair string. I'm going to go into my Sage wallet and go into the settings and then go to the Wallet Connect URI and press Control V. You can also click this paste right here, and then I'm going to click the Connect button. Now this connection has shown up here. Meanwhile, if you notice, there's something that I had connected to in the past. If you're done with something, best practice is to disconnect. As you can see, I did not disconnect last time I did something here. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go disconnect from that application and stop giving it rights to asking me if I want to sign transactions on that website. Because I can always reconnect. It's not a big deal. But if somebody gets access to my computer and I'm connected to that, and it could be a bad time. And or if the developer has malicious intent, it could be a bad time as well. So now that I'm connected, it says I'm connected. I can double check at the top right. It shows that my wallet address, I can go and confirm it within my wallet and ensure that it's the same one. It is. Now I can go into the swap feature. It'll break down the offer. This is as if you were going into the offer section on your regular wallet and you were building a offer and being like, I want to exchange this much XCH for this many of that cat token. You can build this offer yourself too if you'd like. You can literally copy that amount and put it in here and make the same trade without, let's say, going into this interface. You can also add that string ID, like I showed you before. There's another button, like if you're using Goby, to immediately port it into your wallet. Now, this is what I'm going to be spending in Chia and receiving this amount in the network index token. This is the fee that it's suggesting in order to make sure that my transaction is included on the block. I'm going to click generate transaction. It's going to give me these pop-ups to tell me that that's taking place. I'm going to go back into my wallet and it's going to tell me where it came from, what the offer is about, what's in the offer. This is what I'm giving. This is what I'm receiving. This is how much it's going to take to make that happen. I'm going to click approve. Now I should be able to go back into here and see that that is going through. In the meantime, while this is going through this interface, I can show you a way to check on this offer in a couple of different ways. Now, to see if this offer is going through, you can go on to dexie.space. This is another decentralized exchange where you can see all the available cat tokens, their pairing of XCH and that TAP token on the market. And you can go through trade, see it in different ways, see a chart for it. You can see the order book for it, the ability to swap for XCH for that token or sell that token for your XCH back. The NFT section where you can go buy NFTs. You can see it. Usually the more trusted projects or popular projects have the most volume. So some of these are some really popular projects at the moment for the past year. And let's say we went on one of these and we're like, oh, I really wanted a Tang Bear. You would go on Tang Bear. You would go in here and you can find one that you like. This is how much it's going to cost you in XCH. This is what you're going to receive in return. You can also build an offer file here. And let's say you don't want it for 3, you want it for 2. You could sit here and go and inspect this offer file. You can then take this NFT ID and then on the bottom left here, then start creating your offer file. Now, I can request that NFT. I can put up 2 XCH for it and then create that offer with my wallet. If I connect, I'm not going to connect just yet because we are going to go double check on this offer that should be going through. Let's go into the recent trade section where we would see it. Unfortunately, it's not going through just yet. I do not know what the hang up is. So what we can do is go back here. We can cancel the offer. And I'm going to go onto my Goby wallet for this one and go to there we go. Go to TibetSwap. Connect. It's connected. Go to the asset that I would like. I can see that this is the amount that I was looking for. Now, before I send this, let's double check the time. I do not see my offer going through here. Click swap. Use my wallet. Sign the transaction. There we go. Sent. Receipt. Now I can track that offer on Dexie. See how it shows that it's pending. what I'm going to be offering, what I'm going to be getting back, the time, the date, the transaction hash. This is what we can use, kind of like a receipt, and go find it on the chain itself if we would like to go look up the transaction a different way, which I'll show you in a moment. You can bump the fee so that it gets included faster in a block if it's not being picked up because the amount was too low. You can give it a higher fee and then make sure that it goes through. This shows you who's making the offer, their wallet address, where it is going to, and where the taker is. So the taker in this case is TibetSwap. So it's going to have a lot of CNI that it's going to take from in order to give me my CNI, and then where it's coming through. So this is now where you can go, okay, this is the raw offer file code. This is where I was trying to show you before, where if you have created this offer and you go into your offers in your client wallet and you wanted to view an offer, you can then press Control V and, well, yeah, and now it will show you what is in this offer. So the same way to get that raw offer file, you can do something like this where you're creating it. You get that NFT that you want, or in this case, let's say, yeah, we'll do that NFT just to show what it looks like. Um, 2xch, create offer. Then it would give you the string. You would copy it, paste it in here, and then you would see that you're giving 2xch over here, and then you would be receiving the picture on the right. Not going to build that offer today. I'm going to next show you the other things that you can do here on TibetSwap. So let's go back. Another major thing is liquidity on chain. To be able to, let's say, facilitate these transactions, and the thicker the liquidity, as in the more amount of liquidity that is there, the better it is to be able to trade it at the going rate. So if, for instance, you are in here and you're like, okay, I found the token that I really wanted, let's go look at its liquidity. This one doesn't have that much, this one does, right? You can choose to be a provider of that liquidity source. So this one, it seems that a lot of people have put their trust in and they have a lot of liquidity here. So that's something that you can look at and be like, okay, maybe it's a little safer to put my xch paired with this token there. Or let's say you found one with another really good ratio, a 2-to-1 ratio of market cap to liquidity. You'd be like, you know what? I feel like a better bet is to go that route. I'm not going to go fully into what's in these liquidity positions, but I'm going to give you the basics of what you're kind of looking for while you're doing it. So essentially, you find a token that you want. You want to participate and be a liquidity provider and earn fees off of the trades that are happening. And you want to provide that opportunity for other people to make their trades and facilitate those transactions and get paid based off of what's going through in volume. Volume as in somebody buying or selling that asset. And you go in here and you're like, okay, well, I just got this cat token and I got 12,000 of them, right? I want to put all of them up for liquidity. Now I'll be able to pair, you'll see, this token, this amount of this token, with this amount of xch, and receive this as a representation of these two paired together. So these tokens at the bottom that are going to be emitted are going to represent this ratio. And as people, let's say, buy this token out of this ratio that you are putting into liquidity, this number will go up because let's say they have to buy more of this token with xch. This xch number will go up. Meanwhile, the CNI number will go down because they're buying it from the pool and replacing it with their xch. That's how the ratio stays consistent based off of these contract puzzles. Now, what's also added into these is a token price of how much one CNI is per xch mojo, how much of the tokens in CNI are available on market, paired with this much amount of xch that is on there. Now, before you do something like this, it might behoove you to go into the recent trade section on dexie.space, click any asset, type in the asset that you're looking for, like in this case, the cat one, and you can see all of the trades that happen with just this token. Now, what I like to do is I like to go over to that token that you saw that gets emitted at the bottom here, and I like to go inspect that token so that I can see who's holding on to it, how much is there, who, if it's one person that's holding it all, right? Because liquidity is your access to those tokens. Now, if somebody is a project creator, they can make these tokens at the very beginning and pair as much as they want to make a ratio for the pool to be traded on, but they'll still have access to all of these funds via these tokens. And then they can come back here and be like, well, I have 81,000 of these tokens, and I'm going to exchange these tokens for my CNI cats back and this much xch back. And they can essentially remove it from the ratio and the trade. Now, when somebody does that, it doesn't, if a project does that, normally they consider it rugging the project as in taking the liquidity so that people cannot trade it. Now, this is where you would want to check that. You would go into that token's pairing, and then you go to Space Scan here at the bottom. Space Scan is essentially a block explorer so that you can view any information of what's going on in the network in a different way. And in this instance, I'm looking at that LP token, liquidity provider token, I'm going to go over to the holders list to see the holders. And right now, if you go and check, this is the address holding the most of these tokens. Now, in this case, what's really cool is that if you look at this address, this is called the burn address. This is where at the very beginning of the video, if you notice that I said that you can send NFTs to a burn address and then not redeem, it cannot be redeemed or taken or touched anymore. That's where this comes into play. When LP is burned, that means the person that made that position, that paired the tokens together of the xch, the cat in this instance, they no longer have access because they burned these tokens. They can no longer get these tokens back. So if we look at the liquidity, the holder is the biggest provider of liquidity burnt their position. So in this instance, none of these tokens, if we go copy this amount and go put it into TibetSwap, that means none of these tokens can be pulled away from trading. This will always be there for people to trade with and buy and sell, and it can never be taken away from them. So the only way that they can receive it back is if they go onto this website or into xch.swap or dexie.space, for instance, and then they go swap their tokens for that amount back. Now, if all of this had gotten removed, there would be significantly less to receive back, and then this impact would go way up. So that's something to look out for, is to make sure that if there are liquidity providers, you go look and see. Now, the next person on this list holds this much liquidity. They hold this many tokens and this much xch. They could essentially pull that from the trade if they wanted to at any time, because it's their assets. They still have access to it. And then there's other people that are providing to that liquidity pool as well. Now, moving forward, we can also look at the people that are holding the token themselves rather than the liquidity position. You can also look up the token where you take the asset ID, right? You can take it here. You can go also on to xch.trade, and you can also pull the asset ID from that token on here as well, so that you can then put it into space scan. Well, it's taking a little bit, so I'm going to just put the asset ID here, and now you can see this is that token. This is the market cap. This is how much circulating supply, just like what we saw here on xch.trade. When we go into here, we see the asset ID, we see the circulating supply, how much is there, etc. It's a reflection of the two. This also shows the social media page if you'd like. If the creator has connected it to that, you can then go find it on social media that's provided. We can then go through all the different trades that have happened with this token. We could see all the transfer events that weren't trades necessarily, but it going from one address to another. And we can go look up at those transactions. Now, if we go look at this one, we could say what happened 11 minutes ago where we put our transaction. We can come find that here now. We can also go find that transaction ID here in the recent trades section. When we go look up the CNI transaction, this is the last one that happened. We can go find that transaction hash or ID. So mempool, we have offer ID hash. So we can go here and then go find that offer. Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, my computer is not working right now, so we'll skip that part for now. We'll just click on the transaction ID. This allows you to track where it all goes and what happened. It came from this address, and then it was sent to this address. Now we know that this address, because we were on TibetSwap, is going to be the TibetSwap address of the liquidity positions, and it's going to come from that and send it to your address, essentially mine in this case. And I'll be able to go in and see my wallet address that made this transaction. I get to see my balance in xch, how much tokens I have, and I can take and find my cat tokens that I just got here in this transaction, or I can find it in this tab where it shows it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye of the transaction happening. It might take a minute to go through. There we go. And now it shows me the amount that I purchased. It came in. I didn't sell it, so it's not going to show out. These are all the other tokens that are being received, right? These have been sent out. That means that it was either A, purchased, or B, sent out to somebody. I can go look up these wallet addresses if I'd like. It looks like they're all different, so it looks like they were all sent to different addresses. It wasn't just sent to one person. You can go track this if you'd like, and then you can go look into these, the portion where you got your NFTs. If you wouldn't purchase NFTs on, let's say, dexie.space, I'll show you another website that we go to, which is MintGarden. MintGarden is a trusted source for NFTs solely, so you can mint your NFTs on here. You can go look up other people's NFTs. You can see auctions, you can see collections, and as a matter of fact, you can also see your NFT profile DIDs. So you can copy your profile and go look up here at the top and be able to see your NFT collections that you create and what you have, right? You can also take your wallet address. In this case, I'm going to use the Goby address and paste that at the top and be able to find what it holds. It holds all of these. Now, it also, if you create multiple profiles, show you all the profiles associated with that address. So this one is another address that's holding different NFTs. You can see the activity of it going from one place to another, and kind of like seeing it on SpaceScan or Dexie, just in a different type of interface and only for NFTs. is the extent of how far I'll go into this, as there's another video somewhere explaining MintGarden more in depth. Now, back to Space Scan. We sent our transaction. We were able to find our transaction. We were able to see that these tokens landed in our wallet via the transaction. We are able to see the NFTs we're holding, and we are also able to see all the tokens that we are holding currently on this page as well. We can also find the asset ID over here on the right, just to make it easier for yourself too. If you don't know where to go, you can go to your wallet address, go to your tokens, find the asset ID, and you'll be able to find back from square one, right? Now we're going to go over to the holders. We can see that a vast majority of the circulating supply of CNI when it was launched was burnt, and then these are all the address holding it. This, it looks like, is the TibetSwap one. Based on how much is here, you can tell and go back in here and be like, okay, well, how much liquidity is up for CNI? Looks like there's 10 million. That seems to be the same thing. So we can tell that that's a liquidity pool. That's not just one person holding it. That's the entirety of all of those people that were holding on that one page. I can show you really quick what I mean by that. These tokens for the LP, it is a combination of all of these tokens and people's holdings that are showing and reflecting here, and also showing and reflecting here. So all of those addresses are just this one thing. So that's good. That doesn't mean one person holds a significant amount of the supply. Now, it may look like these are also holding a lot, but you never know. Some of these could be locked, some of these could be vested, some of these could be giving out to staking, some of these could be held by the Chia network employees, some of these could be held by devs, some of these could be held by random community members, right? And it will show you all the way down to a dust balance, as in there's like very few fractions of a coin left in the wallet. I'm not going to go into any more on Space Scan. Essentially, this is where you would look up the transaction that you were trying to find if you're trying to figure out where a token came from or went, the latest trades, all the tokens that are available on the market, the latest tokens that got burnt, tax documents if you need a CSV file of that. And essentially, it's just the same thing in a different spot. It's your preference of where to go to look at the information. Going back into Dexie, we can see that there are these recent trades, right? Now, we have the coins of somebody buying on this website. So these are different aggregators or the different dexes that you can go buy these tokens from. There's other ones like DeFi as well that only is usable with Goby Wallet. And then this one is dexie.space combined swap. They have this thing called Splash where it will combine offers from all the different aggregates and give you the best bang for your buck. Yeah, so it looks like we got Pussy Swap, we have Dexie, we have TibetSwap, we have different places to swap that. Another way to look at these offer files right now, if you kind of want to see what's going on, you're like, oh, there's a lot going on the screen, I don't know what's going on. Essentially, if you look at it this way, this is somebody buying this token. So that's a buy. If you see XCH on this right side, that's a buy. That's a buy. That's a buy. This, see how XCH is on the left side? That means somebody sold this token for this amount of XCH, just to help show you what is going on. See, we bought this amount of CNI. And so now I'm going to show you back to the liquidity portion. Now that we bought that amount of CNI, now that we bought this amount of CNI, we're going to take it and we're going to provide liquidity. Now I put the amount that I have. I make sure that I have this amount of XCH in my wallet. I should be receiving these tokens in return. Now I click add liquidity, and it gives me all of my information of my trade that's going to happen, the pairing that's going to happen together, and when I'm going to get back, how much it's going to cost. Sign transaction. This is building offers for me. You can do the same thing. You can build the same offer in your Chia Client Wallet or in your Sage Wallet if you'd like, but it's easier to just go this route if you have like Goby or Sage and Wallet Connect and have it build the offer and you sign it. Now we can go back onto dexie.space, and now we can see that it is going through. We have paired these tokens with XCH, and now it should be emitting these TibetSwap tokens to us. And now we can see it pending. Anybody can see this, by the way, which is nice. You can see what people are buying and selling. I'm going to go inspect this while it's pending. Now, if you wanted to, you can be like, okay, well, this is where all those tokens came from. This is what's happening from this wallet address where we just sent it from. We got this many tokens from this address, which is the one that's giving us the... actually, this is probably just one of the addresses that is a fraction of a token. This is the TibetSwap that is emitting us our TibetSwap LP position tokens. And this is us receiving them. So now I can go on here and click it, and it will show me at Space Scan. I can now see my transaction went through a minute ago. I can go view it, see where everything went. It went from my address of giving this amount of XCH to the TibetSwap address in this case. If I wanted to, I could go search through and see my transaction on the TibetSwap side as well. And a little branch of what happened throughout the process. That's taken a bit, so let's just go back to our wallet. We'll just see one more time that transaction being on chain. Now it's 2 minutes ago. We can go then into the cat section. And now we can see that we received our LP position. And that is the gist of getting on Chia and making our first transaction, figuring out where to go to look for things. This is the NFT section. I'll just run it down here really quick. This is the floor price. This is the lowest amount you can buy one of these NFTs for currently. This allows you to see the amount that is on a NFT that is offered that hasn't been accepted yet. So that means somebody is trying to buy one of these Chia friends for 820 XCH and it has not been accepted. And it shows you the weekly volume, whether or not there was a floor change, as in the lowest amount that went up possible. You can see the trade history, asset overview, and that's about it for that. Yep. Welcome to Chia.